Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Will Smith, Denzel Washington, Oprah Winfrey. Do these names sound familiar to you? How about Jimi Hendrix, Michael Jackson, or Stevie Wonder, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, and Barack Obama? Prominent figures, icons, all of which have left and marked and continue to change the course of history as we know it. A legacy not only to their race, but the world itself. Good day. I am here to report about a race that was once undervalued, now reigning supreme in almost every field you can imagine around the globe. A culture that was once spat on, but now telling an amazing zero to hero story. I present to you the black culture, race, and ethnicity in America. To begin with, let's go back to the roots and see where it all begins. The Black History. From the earliest days of the American slavery in the 17th century, slave owners ought to exercise control over their slaves by attempting to strip them of their African culture. Slave owners deliberately tried to repress independent political organizations in order to deal with the many slave rebellions or acts of resistance that took place in the United States. And because of that, Americans have recognized Black history annually since 1926, first as Negro History Week and later as Black History Month. We owe the celebration of Black History Month and, more importantly, the study of Black history to Dr. Carter G. Woodson, whose parents were former slaves, who spent his childhood and enrolled in high school at age 12. He graduated within 2 years and later went on to earn a PhD from Harvard, established Journal of Negro History. Woodson decided to write about Black Americans' history. He established the association of the study of Negro life and history, and it is now called the Association for the Study of Afro-American Life and History in 1915, and later founded the widely respected Journal of Negro History, and in 1926, he also launched Negro History Week to give due respect to the contributions of Black people throughout American history. He chose the second week of February for Negro History Week because of the birthdays of two influential Black American population, Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. Harlem Renaissance, 1920s and 1930s. African American gained public recognition for music, literature, and art. Authors such as Zora Neale Hurston and Nella Larsen, and poets such as Langston Hughes, Claude McKay, and Countee Cullen wrote works describing the African American experience. Jazz, swing, blues, and other musical forms entered American popular music. African American artists William H. Johnson and Palmer Hayden created unique works of art featuring African Americans. This was also a time for increased political involvement for African Americans. The United Negro Improvement Association and the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People are known African American political movements. African American cultural movement. The Black Power movement of the 1960s and the 1970s occurred right after the non-violent American Civil Rights Movement, promoting racial pride and ethnic cohesion. It inspired a new renaissance in African American literary and artistic expression, generally referred to as the African American or Black Arts Movement. Music. African American music began typically in polyrhythmic music or ethnic groups of Africa, specifically particularly those in the Western Sahelian and Sub-Saharan regions. During the slavery period, Africans in America blended traditionally European music or hymns with African elements to create spirituals. Literature. During the early 20th century Harlem Renaissance, many authors made a name for themselves such as Langston Hughes and Booker T. Washington. Authors during the Civil Rights era were Richard Wright, James Baldwin, and Gwendolyn Brooks, who wrote about issues of racial segregation and oppression. This continues today with authors who created works such as Roots, The Saga of American Family by Alex Haley, The Color Purple by Ace Walker, Beloved by the Nobel Prize winning Toni Morrison, and fiction works by Octavia Butler and Walter Mosley. Holidays and observances. African Americans observe ethnic holidays along with traditional American holidays. Holidays observed in African American culture are widely considered American holidays. The birthday of American civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. has been observed nationally since 1983 and is one of the 3 federal holidays named for an individual. Black History Month is another example of another African American adopted national observed during the month of February to coincide with the founding of NAACP and the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. Family. During the time of slavery, it was common for families to be separated through sale. Despite this, many African American families managed to maintain strong familial or family bonds to those free African men and women who often work long and hard to buy the members of their families kept as slaves. Those separated from blood kin formed close bonds based on fictive kin, play relations, play aunts, cousins, and the like. This African concept of what constitutes family, community, and deep respect for elders is part of African traditional societies. It may be the start of the common use of terms like cousin or cuz, uncle, brother, sister, mother, and mama when addressing other African American people, some of whom may be completely strangers. Due to the conditions of poverty, African American neighborhoods in the United States have been called ghettos. The word ghetto is used to signify a poor urban area populated by ethnic minorities. This context is somewhat offensive, though for many African Americans, ghetto was a place representing blackness, strong feeling rooted from rising above the struggles and sufferings being African descent in America. There's truly a lot more to black than meets the eye. It is a long and interesting topic to discuss and study. Presently, the black race have truly conquered all odds and barriers, propelling them to the top of the ladder.